You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Hazelton Honda.
Welcome inside Veterans Memorial Stadium in Old Forge, Lackawanna County. Tonight, the Lackawanna Football Conference kicks off with the 74th meeting between Riverside and Old Forge. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide, joined tonight by former Tunkhannock area coach John Seachek. We are socially distant. Hannah O'Reilly will join us shortly from the sidelines. Well, when the Lackawanna Football Conference decided to play an abbreviated 5-game schedule, this is a good one to kick off with. It's the Tri-Borough rivalry, and it should be a doozy.
It's going to be a great game. Old Forge has been chomping at the bit to try to get a real game going. Monotony is what Coach Schubeck was saying was setting in, and this is a great way to kick it off. But, Bob, as we know, Riverside has played 3 games.
Riverside has played 3 games, Coach. They lost all 3 games, but they have a superstar quarterback. He's our Toyota Spotlight player, and that's Johnny Gilchrist.
Johnny Gilchrist has thrown for over 5,700 yards, 68 touchdowns. He's number 2 in the class. He's the young man responsible for bringing out a lot of these first-year players.
Old Forge is ranked 2nd in the state in Class A, and they haven't even played a game yet. They have a lot of returners, some great talent, and boy, one of the guys we're going to call a lot tonight from our vantage point in the press box will be Colin Holtzman. He's their other Toyota Spotlight player.
That young man, from what Coach Schubeck told me, he is the heart and soul of this team. He not only had 102 tackles, solo tackles last year, he had 17 tackles for a loss, but he's also their fullback, and he does a tremendous job with his legs as well.
Well, it turned out to be a beautiful night for high school football. Let's check in on the weather now with Allie DeBicki from the Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Hey everybody, here for your Friday Night Rivals forecast. After all the early showers we saw today, things are going to dry out. So perfect for game time tonight, just maybe a little bit wet on the grass. You can see our kickoff temperature right around 58 degrees. It will be gradually clearing as the night goes on for Riverside at Old Forge by halftime, looking at a temperature near 53. We'll talk more about your forecast coming up at halftime, but for now, we'll send it over to the field.
The Vikings have lost 3 straight to the rivals from the Blue Devils. Can they pull off the upset tonight? It's Riverside and Old Forge next.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
For the first time this season, the Blue Devils from Old Forge will take the field at Veterans Memorial Stadium for this meeting with their rivals from literally just down the road. Welcome back, everyone. It's been a tumultuous week, roller coaster ride, if you want to say, if you're a fan, student, or just a spectator of high school sports. Fans were let in, now they're let in, not let in. To find out more and what's going to happen here tonight, let's go down to Hannah on the sidelines.
Well, Bob, we're rolling with the punches yet again. The PIAA announced last night that they're limiting the amount of people at these games. So Old Forge has made the decision to have no fans tonight, no band members, and no Riverside cheerleaders. So who you're going to see at this game are both teams, Old Forge cheerleaders, and a few members of the faculty and staff, but it is getting a little colder out here, and we have no problem bringing our viewers these games in the comfort of their own home. Bob and Jan, it's time for kickoff.
It is time for kickoff. It's a little bit eerie after the first couple of weeks. We did some games. We had fans at Central Columbia, fans at Nanticoke, but really just cheerleaders here in front of us, some media. It's a little bit eerie.
They're going to be making some noise, the cheerleaders will, for the Blue Devils. And Bob, last week at Nanticoke, we had the band there. It was like normal, like our normalcy for Friday night. So as we were talking pre-game, Bob, this is going to be pretty exciting for the Blue Devils to get their first game.
It's been anything but a normal year, as everyone knows, but now on this biggest night and the kickoff for the Lackawanna Football Conference, it'll be silent here. There are some fans peeking in through the stands, maybe outside the fences, and we'll talk about that later on. Riverside won the toss. They elected to receive, so we'll see that high-powered offense get things going, and kicking it off for this 2020 season for the Blue Devils will be number 14, Nathan Kraninski. He is a junior. Noah Prasinski and Michael Rickard are back to receive for this Lackawanna College kickoff, the 74th meeting between the Vikings and the Blue Devils. Low line kick. Goes right through the receivers, and Riverside is lucky. They'll start at the 14-yard line. So that will be Johnny Gilchrist. We talked about him in pregame so far this year. He's having a nice season. 98 passes through the air. He's 604 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Coach?
Hey, now, Johnny Gilchrist is a great athlete. The problem he's having is his supporting staff around him are all first-year players, and that goes for the offensive line. So he's done a lot of good things with all the talent that he possesses.
His top receiver is actually the top basketball player out of Riverside. His first year ever playing football. That's number 14, Michael Rickard. We'll see a lot of him. So it'll be a fast-paced offense. You're going to see no huddle, a lot of passing, and they get it out to Brzezinski for a nice gain out to about the 21.
And we're going to see a lot of different looks from Old Forge's defense to try to counter this spread offense. Here goes Gilchrist. He knew he was throwing to on this play. Good catch and run there.
As we talked about, they played 3 games. Does that help them? It's got to help them better than Old Forge.
They're not going to have the first game jitters. They should be mentally, they should be sound. They shouldn't make those offsides penalties. So they have that little bit of advantage here.
Hand it off to Brzezinski. Stuffed up for no yards. So let's take a look at the Hazleton Honda starting lineup. There's Brzezinski and Jimmy Garvey's the tight end. We go with 3 wide receivers, as you might expect, Gonzalez and Gahan. Just a freshman is Gahan with 8 receptions on the year and a very young offensive line. A couple seniors up there, and the biggest, the most guys with experience will be Hoskins and Ty. So look for them. That is your Hazleton Honda offensive line. False snap. Flag comes down. Gilchrist falls on it. And we talk about tying in the middle. Looks like they either didn't know the snap count or knew when to snap the ball.
The Old Forge defensive line, they did a shift, and I think that ended up drawing that false snap. And again, luckily, the Vikings jumped on that ball.
False start on the offense. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
John Loomis is our referee tonight in the Lackawanna Football Conference game. Here it is again.
And that was it. That shift in that defensive line just gave this center a little bit of jitters there. And again, he is the senior there, Justin Teagan there.
So that brings up 3rd down and long. And boy, Riverside's had a tough time in the first 3 games scoring any points, just average of 11. Gave up 51 last week to Tamako. So they'd like to get off to a fast start in this rivalry game.
And Coach does not want to have those turnovers.
Trying to look for Rickard, and Rickard went inside, ball went outside. DiGregorio on the defensive cornerback spot. And the Vikings will be forced to punt.
So you'll see they're going to be going down long. They just went with the fade route along here, along the sidelines, but he kind of tapered that in because the way the defense was playing. And again, Michael Rickard is a first-year football player for them, and Riverside's quarterback, Johnny Gilchrist, and Michael Rickard were best friends, and he actually talked him into playing this year.
So Gary Borzinski, the sophomore, doing the punting. Boy, a low kick, and Old Forge will have awesome field position. Takes a bit of a Riverside roll, but this will end up on the Viking side of the field and down right at the 47-yard line. Here comes Old Forge out. It will be the sophomore getting the start tonight, James Sobel. And there you see his first start, a lot of zeros up there, just a sophomore. He's going to use a wristband for just about 8 or 9 plays he's going to call.
And Coach wanted to try to keep it to a minimum in his first start, varsity start in his career, and just wants to gain the confidence so he can just progressively add to that offensive scheme.
So they go into the I. Holtzman lined up in the out of the I, and he breaks free. Colin Holtzman all the way down inside the 5-yard line. What a great first play for the Blue Devils.
you're going to see that Old Forge runs this beautiful sweep. Both guards are pulling, fullback leads, great block. And this was why this young man is our spotlight player. His legs just keep pumping. He's got great speed.
45-yard run play for the Blue Devils, and they're inside the Allied Services red zone after the Figure Law Firm first down. Back to Holtzman. Good hole, and it is a Hazleton Honda area touchdown for the Blue Devils. 2 plays, 47 yards.
Holtzman for the Old Forge, touchdown.
You'll see this right here. They just go with their what they call a bob, big on big. They're going to snap, climb, double up, and then they're going to look for the second level, and they push them into the second level, the linebackers, for that touchdown.
So Kranitsky, Barbetti, and no, it's Holtzman. Casey Holtzman does the PAT, and it's 7-0, 10:18 remaining in the first quarter. Oh, the Blue Devils are excited about their start. 2 big plays from their senior Colin Holtzman. He does all the running, and Old Forge is up 7-0 as they're to kick it off. Another Lackawanna College kickoff. Taken by Garvey, and Garvey's quickly taken down. Here are the 2 coaches tonight. Harry Armstrong in his 8th season on the left-hand side for the Vikings, 59 wins overall. And boy, he's one of the seniors now in the Lackawanna Football Conference. Mike Schuback, 19th season here, 159 wins, bunch of District 2 titles. And boy, when they get together, it is a rivalry on and off the field.
Bob, you talking about the rivalry, talking to their assistant coaches, both sets of assistant coaches, and they said you can literally throw the records out the window because they're going to be doing things differently tonight, both teams, that they normally don't do.
Of course, Harry Armstrong was here at Riverside and then left for a little while, go down to Wilkes, and then came back a couple years ago as Gilchrist gets it out to Garvey for about 4 yards.
That was a nice play. You'll see that if we get that replay up there, you'll be able to see how that pinpoint accuracy that Gilchrist has. He has that, and he just throws that right in there. Garvey, the baseball player, does a nice job sitting down, curling down into the dead zone.
For the Vikings to be in this game, they need to score points. It's expected to be a high-scoring game. We saw what the Old Forge offense can do. Can Riverside match that now?
Well, part of the problem that Riverside's going to have is their offensive line is only averaging 192 pounds. And I did the math again with these, and Old Forge's defense is averaging 255.
So here's the Hazleton Honda area defense for the Blue Devils. Weaver, Rose, Rasmus, and Castaldi up front. They're going to stick with a 4-4. We'll see a lot of nickel tonight, as you might expect. Dietz, Holtzman, Spindler, and John Greenfield. He's interesting. Played at Riverside last year, of course. There you see Casey Holtzman, DiGregorio, and Simone in your secondary. Again, we'll see a lot of Lesensky and Tallow back there in the nickel for Old Forge. So on 3rd down, Gilchrist calls his own number. The defense is right there as Spindler makes the tackle, and it'll be 4th and 3.
That was a solid hit in there by Spindler. Quarterback keep all the way, and he just lowers the boom on him right there, and we end up getting a very short game for a 4th.
Well, Riverside's numbers running the ball are not very good at all. They average 5 yards per game. 5 yards per game. And that's a lot to do with a lot of the sacks they're getting in the game with the young offensive line. So Harry Armstrong rolling the dice, 4th down in this rivalry game. What a great catch by Rickard out there. And he has a figure law first down to the 40.
And this is what Coach Armstrong wants to do. They got a first down now. You'll see here, he's looking all the way who he's throwing to. Threw it up a little bit high for him, but he is a basketball player used to going up for those rebounds.
That's his 16th catch already in this early season. He has 3 touchdowns. Here you see the athletic ability, too, from Rickard.
Coach Armstrong said that he is so happy that all these first-year players are out because they are athletes.
Yeah.
And just like all high schools, you always want the best athletes out on the field.
He's got cross-country runners. He has soccer players coming out. So
basketball, baseball.
Flag is thrown as the pass is caught. by Reese Gahan up at midfield. But let's see what the flag is first. Came back, I think it was from the referee, actually. Again, the referees haven't done much either, a lot of these Lackawanna football conference guys.
They have the first game jitters and the butterflies going.
They've done some scrimmages, of course. Our second flag of the evening. They're going to talk about it. Looks like this one might be going the other way.
Illegal formation on the offense, 5 yards. Still first down.
One thing, if you're the Vikings, you can't make mistakes.
Well, what that penalty was meant that there weren't enough men on the line of scrimmage. And the kids nowadays, I would tell my players when I was coaching, 7-Up, just like the soda. I don't think that's around anymore.
It is 7-Up.
Is it still 7-Up?
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely. So that backs them up 5, brings up 1st and 15. Gilchrist getting time, is going to go long. He has Rickard, and he just overthrew it. He beat the secondary, and Simone was down there. Look for that later on in the game. What a great throw by Johnny Gilchrist.
That was a great matchup, and Rickard does a nice job breaking behind that secondary. The great view right here from our camera guys, beautiful. Look at that. He was getting pressure from the left end in his face. And again, they're going to have that one circled, and they're going to come back to that. It's interesting. Old Forge keeps going from a 3-man front to a 4-man front, and they have a lot of fresh legs coming in, trying to keep up with this spread offense.
7-0 Old Forge, their first possession. They put it into the touchdown very quickly. So Riverside has owned most of the possession time so far. Pajinski with some hard running, gets back to near the original line of scrimmage, near the 40. It will bring up 3rd and long.
It's a great fake by Gilchrist right there with that fake pass in there. That was a trap. You see the counter tray, actually, backside guard tackle pulling. But that stout defensive line of Old Forge is not moving very, very easily for them.
It's very eerie not to hear any thousands of fans, especially in this rivalry game, screaming and yelling right now. It's very quiet here in Old Forge. Thanks for everyone watching tonight's game, wherever you might be in the Triborough area. So a big 3rd down to keep this drive moving along. Gilchrist is going to go long again. And it's out to Rickard, and he was fighting hand in hand a little bit with Andrew Barnikowski, and it just came up short.
Andrew Barnikowski on this play has great inside leverage, and he brings that hand up at the last second. Look at that. Johnny Gilchrist has great form, great technique. Does a great job. You saw how he swatted that ball down. So that could have been trouble for the Old Forge Blue Devils.
Looked like Rickard landed a little bit gingerly, but got right back up. So they're going to be punting again with Morzinski. See if he can put one off better than he did his first time. Oh, someone might have got a hand on it. It came out very awkwardly. And it's going to land at the Old Forge 45-yard line as we take a look at the cheerleaders here tonight at their home stadium. Now time to look at the Hazleton Honda starting lineup for the Blue Devils. Sobel got the start. We'll talk about him starting in a second. Colin Holtzman already with the touchdown. Haven't seen much of Hekeziah Dietz. Well, we will be before the night is through.
Absolutely.
DiGregorio, Tallow, and Weaver are your receivers, and up front they have a lot of experience, and they're pretty big, Coach.
They are. They average 235 across the board, and what Coach Schubeck was saying is how these kids are so gritty and tough, but they really love the weight room.
They do love the weight room. So we got a flag. I think we're going to have a 5-yard penalty against the Blue Devils, as the receiver closest to us might have left a little bit early. I didn't see who it was.
And Jimmy Garvey, number 88 for Riverside, does a nice job breaking that play up at coming up from the strong safety position.
Illegal formation on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So why are we seeing the sophomore? Well, Dante Lucarelli, a 4-year starter, he's a senior. injured himself about a week ago, as we'll take a look at this play.
You see the both pulling guards
Yep.
coming at us. Again, one, they didn't have enough guys on the line of scrimmage.
So that one-
and again, like with Old Forge, it's their first game.
Yep.
Not that that's an excuse and it's okay, but again, they have their pregame, first game jitters out there.
So Lucarelli got cleared yesterday. He had knee problems last year, as we know. Di Gregorio did the game we did against Lackawanna Trail. So we expect to see him tonight as Holtzman finds another hole. And Colin Holtzman, he may go over the 100-yard mark in the first 7 minutes of this game. He's down to the 10.
Number 4, Colin Holtzman carries Old Forge. Stop on the 8, Garvey.
Wow. Look at this play. Here comes. He's got a great escort coming up there. You got the outside receiver coming in doing a crackback, and he springs him for that. What a great burst. What great speed. And he just was like, man, this is all right.
How about 48 yards? He's nearing the 100-yard mark on 3 carries. So Dietz dots the I this time. And Dietz will get his first carry, has room to the outside, but Perchinski comes in to make the tackle before he got into the end zone. But the drive continues inside the Allied Services red zone.
Noah Perchinski on this does a nice job coming up and stopping that. Again, you see the front side guard pulling on this play, led by the fullback, and then the tailback has his own, but Perchinski does a nice job with the hit and wrap.
Riverside last week against Tamaqua gave up 422 yards on the ground in the loss. Obviously, it's something they needed to fix, and obviously the Blue Devils are taking advantage of that.
Well, with their experience up front,
Dietz to the end zone, and he's in. It's a Hazelton Honda touchdown for Hexadiah Dietz.
Number 32, Hezekiah Dietz and Old Forge, touchdown.
This is a great job by that offensive line. Again, exploding, controlling the line of scrimmage, allowing that running back to go in there free like that.
Barbetti does the kicking. Keegan Barbetti, the junior with the PAT. I believe he had the other PAT last time, so I apologized to him. So it's 14-0, 5:08 remaining in the first quarter, and it's been all Blue Devils on the ground.
October is Jobtoberfest at Allied Services. Every Thursday in October, Allied Services hosts job counseling, hiring fairs, giveaways, and so much more. Learn about all the excellent career opportunities, including sign-on bonuses and benefits every Thursday. Get all the details at Careers at Allied Services on Facebook.
So officially, I have a 3 plays, 55 yards, but remember they had to back up 5 because of the penalty. So they make it look easy, but a great job up front from the offensive line to give Holtzman the holes and Dietz.
And again, it makes it pretty easy for James Sobel at that quarterback position to be just handing the ball off, not too much responsibility, and to get him more comfortable and get that confidence. Right now, Riverside, this is what Coach didn't want. Coach Armstrong said, we can't allow this to happen in terms of letting the big plays up. And again, they're just taking control right now. Riverside, again, they started a nice drive. They just have to complete now.
Kranitzky's Lackawanna College kickoff taken by Garvey again, up past the 30 to the 33. And in a game like this, you can't let this one get out of hand. I mean, Riverside does have the ability to get points quickly, but they can't let Old Forge get too far ahead.
No, here are the keys to the game that they wanted to talk about: ball security and play loose. Right now, they're playing a little bit tight, in my opinion. Ball security hasn't come up, and let's hope it doesn't for the Vikings. What they have to do is just play football right now. And Bob, what you were saying is not to let it get away from them. Their offense is designed for quick strikes. So, again, if they could get one now, we got ourselves a great game.
Of course, last year, Old Forge jumped out to a big lead, and Riverside made it a game right at the end, almost pulled it off. But 3 straight wins so far in this series. Riverside trying to pull the upset. How about one more long ball? Third time not the charge, but this will be a flag as the official can't get it out. I think it looked like Barnikowski might have been holding Rickard's hand a little bit.
Well,
at the end there.
again, Rickard only was able to hit the ball with one hand. He only had one hand extended on that, so we'll have to wait and see what the call is.
Pass interference. 31, 15 yards. Play results in a first down. Riverside.
I think it was actually 21, but remember, it's only a 15-yard game in high school.
It's not like the pros where it's a spot foul. Again, I can't speak highly enough of Johnny Gilchrist with his position. His look at that. Yeah, you saw that in there. He grabbed his inside arm. Again, but he knows it's not a spot foul, so that's not a bad play.
So up near midfield, it's placed right at the 48. And the drive will continue. It's a figure law first down on the penalty. Under 5 to play. We're in the first quarter here at Veterans Memorial Stadium in the pizza capital of the world. Gilchrist over the middle this time, and it's caught. Rickard up for a 12-yard gain inside Blue Devils territory and a figure law first down.
If you, again, Johnny, he's going through his progressions this time, and he saw him, and he had him beat. Again, the way that Rickard ran that, he ran into that secondary coverage. If he throttled down, he could have spun to the outside possibly for more yardage.
So the screen pass batted down right at the line of scrimmage by Nick Rasmus, the junior. 6'1", got his hand right in front of the pass.
That's a great read by the defense right here. You see the right tackle peeled down to the line of scrimmage. They were trying to do that slip screen inside. Heads up play by Rasmus on that. That was tremendous job by him.
Something we don't see a lot, Riverside huddling. I think with all the new players, going with the no huddle may have had some difficulties for the Vikings at times.
Especially when you have inexperience out there and first-year players, as you said, Bob.
Out to Brzezinski, but the defense is right there. No gain for him. It looked like Weaver was out there, number 33, the defensive end on the coverage.
And Gilchrist, he throws that right on the needle, right out where the receiver wants it in front of him. He was able to go pinky to pinky, make a big basket, and catch that.
So it's third down. You figure they're going to go on fourth. Gilchrist with time. That's been a key tonight. Over the middle, and it is almost caught by the tight end Jimmy Garvey. Over the middle at the 15, and it's fourth down.
Now I know why Coach Schubeck was very, very nervous about this team. They can get you at any time. One connection here. Again, look, Gilchrist checking off. Patience in the pocket, does a nice job. Oh, right there. That's what I mean. That's what Coach Schubeck is concerned about.
One thing you notice, he has time to throw, and that's Old Forge has to do a better job, I would think, now getting pressure on him. He has time. He'll pick you apart.
He will.
So it's fourth down. They need 10, and they have a wide open receiver. Michael Rickard. Nope, that's number 11, actually. Josh Galuski in for a Hazelton Honda touchdown. And Riverside's cut the lead in half with the PAT.
And Josh Godleski is a cross-country runner, Bob, first-year player. And you just mentioned about the pressure. He is getting time in there. And again, that right there, the linebacker just didn't drop back enough into his zone, and that's where Josh got right behind him for that touchdown.
Couldn't tell by the numbers, so we had to take a second. Thought it was Rickard, but it is a senior receiver, number 11, who goes 40 yards. Now D'Amico will be on for the extra point, 4:07 remaining, 4:08 in this first quarter, and it's blocked. So good job by the Blue Devils. It's a 8-point lead now for Old Forge.
Popsy's Pizzeria is located in the heart of Old Forge, specializing in New York-style hand-tossed pizza, hot wings, burgers, and so much more. Takeout or delivery, call 570-457-4100 or popsyspizzeria.com. You're all right in our book.
So Jan Cicek, we talked about quick strikeability. You just saw it there from Riverside. Here's the blocked extra point, by the way.
And if you notice, the kicker slipped on that. So he went for his plant foot, and his whole body went underneath of him. I've seen bad things happen with that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
40-yard pass completes the 5 play 67-yard drive, and that's what Riverside can do real quick.
Very quickly, and more importantly, Bob, they only took off about a minute and a half on the clock with that. So this is where this type of offense is very dangerous, and if these guys get hot, especially in this rivalry game, we're going to, like I said, Bob, this could be very, very frustrating for Coach Schubeck right now because this is what he was worried about.
Well, right now, early on, the Blue Devils front 3 or 4 have to get more pressure on the quarterback, or Gilchrist will do that to that secondary all night long. So D'Amico will tee it up for the Lackawanna College kickoff. DiGregorio and Casey Holtzman back to receive, just about their 16-yard line. Nice strong kick, backs up Holtzman to his 13. Big hole for the sophomore. And the sophomore has speed, bounces outside, and I don't know if you're going to catch him. He is gone for a Hazleton Honda area touchdown, Old Forge. 77 yards, and just like that, Old Forge strikes again.
You're going to see some heads-up play by the Blue Devils on this to back off of blocks, not get called for something silly in terms of getting that called back. Great hole opened up, great burst, great speed. And here's an example, just not do anything stupid, just run and try to get in somebody's way.
That hole was so big, you and I could have ran through that. That was a huge hole, and great job on special teams. And I know we didn't look at the keys of the game yet for Old Forge, but I know Mike Schubeck's big on that special teams.
1/3 of the game right there.
We do have an official down who might have got hit on the kickoff return from sophomore Casey Holtzman. Casey played a little bit last year as a freshman. Here you see a great angle. See how big the hole is, John?
Hey, look at that. I mean, that's what you want to do as a special teams coach. This is what you emphasize to your kids. If everybody does their job, great things will happen. And that was just a great job. The Holtzmans have accounted for 14 points tonight.
It looked like the official collided with a camera person on the sidelines, as you might have saw in that shot. But that official's up, going down to his spot. So we'll take a look at that.
Wow. That's just again, I'm watching the preview of the replay, and there was just, I mean, that was just opening up, letting the floodgates open.
Looks like Michael, they're going to go for the Wildcat. DiGregorio, we know he can throw, and he does. And Josh Spindler in for the 2-point conversion. It's 22-6.
That's a very smart play by the Blue Devils. Nice Wildcat formation. They saw the formation, but they didn't respond to it, allowing that 2-point conversion. The key to that was the missed extra point. Now, this makes it a 3-score game.
We're barely 8 minutes played in this game, and already we have 28 points on the board. And this is a great opening for the Lackawanna Football Conference. And again, they are only going to play 5 regular season games, and then we'll work on the district playoffs. Riverside, again, it started out quickly, and I know Hannah O'Reilly is going to talk to their superintendent about why he felt it was necessary to start playing sports, all fall sports, right when the PIAA gave their approval.
Well, I'm sure the superintendent's thoughts are, hey, let's try to get things back to normalcy. And by these kids being able to play, that brings that sense of normalcy. That will help them in the classroom. Obviously, they're dedicated themselves to the football field, and this is kind of neat. It's unusual that a Lackawanna school, only one Lackawanna school, opted in to do that.
So it's another Lackawanna College kickoff here in Old Forge. The Blue Devils will do it one more time. Big kick by Kranitsky. Again, I think it is Garvey. Garvey's had 3 of those kickoffs, and Garvey's up to about the 35-yard line.
Parents, score a touchdown with our great family rates, especially for your young drivers. We have many discounts, great service, and coverage. Plus, we're local and here to help. Call 570-562-1000 or theinsurancebuffet.com.
Well, last year these two teams combined for 802 total yards. Sharpen your pencils. It looks like it might be this way again tonight.
800 yards?
Over 800 combined
Wow.
total yards. So it's a four-man front for the Blue Devils. Gilchrist out. This time on the far side, and it's taken by Brzezinski.
Parchinski does a nice job pulling this ball in, turning to the outside. Again, he's just got to be careful, get that ball in the other arm, so when he spins, it's coming away from the defender, and the ball, and they can't punch it out.
Another flag comes in. It's maybe up on the line of scrimmage.
False start. 88 on the offense. 5 yards. Still second down.
So it's another 5-yard penalty for the Vikings. But the way their offense is, 5 yards, they get that back and pretty quickly in a chunk.
Very quickly, and how these kids respond on this after that kickoff return, they had the momentum. Obviously, it went away. Now they're trying to get it back, and they've just got to be a little bit more mentally disciplined right now to stop those type of penalties.
So 3 wideouts to the near side. Gilchrist is just going to try to run it, and the big line tears him down. That's Holtzman at the bottom. We talked about his over 100 tackles last year and had a couple right there.
Watch how these guys are screaming to the ball. Holtzman just comes into that hole, opens it up, first man, and then we always stress as a defensive coordinator, gang tackling, and that's what you saw there from the Blue Devils.
5 wideouts for Gilchrist. I think someone's not lined up right or moved quickly. Again, this is a young wide receiver crew.
False start. 88 on the offense. 5 yards, still third down.
That's Jimmy Garvey, listed as a tight end, but was lined up this time as a slot receiver. So third and call it about 14 now for the Vikings. This is where the penalties hurt because it's third down.
Absolutely.
On first down, you can live with the 5-yarder. Here, it's third and long now.
But with this spread offense, most of their routes, what they're predicated on is they're going to have somebody going long, they're going to have somebody going medium, and with their formations that they're running, they're not really going to keep too many guys short. So expect these guys to be going long and medium.
Here comes the rush from the outside. Gilchrist is hit, and it's picked off by, guess who? Holtzman again. Still running, and he returns it down to the line of scrimmage where Riverside had the ball at the 30. It'll be first down, Old Forge.
Johnny Gilchrist has been plagued by getting these hits, and this is just a bad ball. You'll see that he's getting pressure right here. Oh, great job by the camera guys. Again, number 42 for the Blue Devils coming in there and putting that pressure on, forcing that fumble, or excuse me, the interception. And Holtzman, again, we talked about not only his tackling, but his legs, and he's showing that. He's been getting recruited by a lot of the Division III schools, and actually one of them was Mansfield for their lightweight team because
sprint football, yep. So Dietz with Holtzman leading the way. Nice gain on first down. Give him about 5.
Here comes the interception coming up. You'll see that the pressure coming in here, right there. He's got his feet set, and he's getting hit as he's releasing the ball. Holtzman does a nice job just doing what he does best back there. And he was doing a great job with his assignment, dropping back to that middle zone.
The Old Forge defense in 2019 had 17 interceptions, so that was their first of the year. As Spindler is up for a figure law first down, just right at the 20, so they'll be in the Allied Services red zone.
You'll see this just right inside. They go with that split zone in there. Fullback's going right, tailback goes left. Ball security is something that, again, we talked about. Coach Schubeck wants to make sure ball control, but again, no turnovers.
So Dante Lucarelli is in, the senior. He'll take the snap now for the first time. He's going to throw it. Sprints out to the end zone, and it's almost intercepted down there by Gahan. In the double coverage, he threw it.
And Michael DiGregorio coming all the way across the field on that deep drag pattern. So he had 2 receivers in that spot. Dante Lucarelli gives you this option back here, again, because he can throw the daylights out of the ball. Lucarelli has some pretty impressive statistics here. Almost 4,000 yards throwing in his career.
Has been plagued with knee problems, though. He's wearing a brace tonight on that right knee. Just cleared yesterday of the play. And a flag comes down. Yeah, Lucarelli, I mean, if he started that, this is a great matchup between quarterbacks, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, you got 2.
Ball start. Number 22 on the offense. 5 yards. Still set.
You have 2 fundamentally sound quarterbacks, and the way that these guys attack each other, it's really a wonderful thing to see here tonight.
Yeah, Lucarelli's thrown for 50 touchdowns in his career.
only
only outdone by Gilchrist.
And in a non-throwing offense.
Yeah, very balanced offense for Old Forge. So 2nd and long. Holtzman trying to pick up a block. He does, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
You'll see Khalil Rose on this, the sophomore right guard pulling on this, the 5'11", 260-pounder. He's lead blocking right in here. You'll see him coming across your screen. He's looking for some work. And again, there was no work to be had, but he got drugged down from behind.
So they don't have to snap it if they don't want to. But he does. Out to Holtzman in the flat, and that's behind him. Flag comes in and stops the clock with 8 seconds left in the quarter. So we've had a lot of flags and a lot of entertaining plays so far. When the star of the show is the guy in stripes, something wrong. Because we want Jan to be the star of the show, let's be honest.
Oh, come on now.
Illegal shift on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Again, with this play that they did right there, again, Dante Lucarelli is a little bit rusty if he hasn't had reps, if he got cleared to go yesterday. That ball was a little high, but there was motion at the beginning of that. So again, he's got to get back into the routine. You'll see right here, just this ball was just, again, he just led the guy. It was up too high. And again, that was on number 3 because I saw him talking to the official. He said, "Is that on me?" And the official nodded.
So they'll go for it on 4th down. Lucarelli looking towards the end zone. A strike, and it's overthrown. He was looking for DiGregorio in the middle of the end zone. But you can see his arm strength on that. And Riverside will take over on downs. A big, small victory for them.
It really is. They got a turnover. They stopped them. They have the ball now. Lucarelli on that showed how strong he can throw the ball.
So 3 seconds left in the quarter. Vikings will have one play, and then we'll get into the second quarter, but it's been all Old Forge early on. It scored 3 touchdowns, just 1 so far for the Vikings. So they'll come out. Gilchrist will go into the shotgun. Looks like a 4-man front still for the Blue Devils. Perchinsky trying to get to the outside. Pick up a block, he can't. Good job out there by Galuski, and he takes him down for a loss, and that's how the quarter will end. So it's been all Blue Devils in the Sunday 4th meeting of this Tri-Borough rivalry.
Welcome back. It's Riverside at Old Forge. Like I mentioned earlier, there are no Riverside cheerleaders here tonight, so I'm joined by Old Forge cheer captains. Ladies, there are no fans in the stands tonight. How is it cheering with no fans?
You know, it's weird, it's not ideal, but it just motivates us to bring up the energy even more and do our job even better than we have in previous years.
What you guys are doing, awesome.
Thank
but
you.
now coronavirus means there's a lot of changes. So talk to me about how practice and game days are looking a little different for you guys.
Well, we definitely have to stay 6 feet apart and wear our masks, but other than that, we can't do our cool builds that we usually do to show off to the fans. So we definitely have to make up for that with our spirit and other things.
Well, both you girls are seniors. How important is it for seniors to be cheering this season?
It's extremely important. We need to have our last final goodbye before we leave and be here for the senior football players.
Well,
They work
ladies,
so hard.
best of luck for your senior year, and thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
Bob and Jan, back to you guys.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Hannah. Right at the end of the first quarter, there was a flag down. It was holding on Riverside, so the Perchinsky run will not count. So it's first and 19 from the 10 for Riverside, and they're going to go down the middle, and Rickert didn't have his head turned. Was a little bit short on the pass.
And that penalty was real interesting, Bob, because the line judge from their sideline threw it. On this play, yeah, he just overthrew this ball right here. There was a little bit of pressure in his face from Rasmus, but not enough to force that.
You were saying about the holding?
Yeah, that flag came all the way from the sideline, from the Riverside sideline. Usually you're going to have the umpire calling those holds, but he threw that flag far, so it really must have been something very obvious.
No one in the backfield with Gilchrist. We have some movement and another flag. And this is going to go against the Vikings as well. This might be their 6th penalty of the game. So it's back to the 5 it goes.
This is not what Coach Armstrong wants the Vikings doing right now. They're just kind of self-destructing on themselves, and they've got to stop that. There shouldn't be too much frustration because they proved they can move the ball when they want to.
Here you see Harry Armstrong looking on. Of course, played quarterback at Riverside. Little quick pass out to Galuski. So brings up 3rd down and long. Here you can hear the snap count. Quick out to Rickard, but he only picked up 3 yards. He was nowhere near the 1st down marker. So 4th and long, this should bring out the punt team.
And this was a pass to Rickard all the way. Ball was a little high. Again, they're trying to spread the Blue Devils out, trying to get a one-on-one matchup so that they're hoping that the Blue Devils will then fall to their knees when they tackle so he can spin off and go.
This is an Old Forge defense last year that gave up only 8.7 points per game, Coach. So we know how good they can be. And a lot of those guys are back. We have not had really a good punt yet from Brzezinski, the sophomore. Be a nice time to get one. Is a better kick, high hanging, fair catch, caught by Di Gregorio inside Viking territory, and that's where Old Forge will take over on the figure law 1st down.
Mary Lou's Pizza is proud to support Friday Night Rivals and reminds you every night is a good night for pizza. Conveniently located on Dunn Avenue in Old Forge, Mary Lou's Pizza offers nightly specials for takeout. Check us out on Facebook.
This is the 3rd time already in this game that the Blue Devils have started inside Viking territory, and they've taken advantage of it each time. So Lucarelli to Dietz, and Dietz up for a couple yards.
Well, they run the ISO play, fullback leading up through the left side center guard gap. Little bit, they're not moving. The Riverside Vikings are stalemating the Old Forge offensive line right now. Again, they're going to have to dig them out of there. If they can do that, they're going to have even more success. But kudos to the Vikings for not moving or losing their ground.
So Greenfield will lead the way for Holtzman now in the eye. Play action. Lugarelli just behind his intended receiver. That looked like the tight end Weaver as Lucarelli was running backwards. Good pressure put on by the Vikings.
Trying to run this little waggle action here, fake to the left and roll to the right. Again, that's pretty smart for Dante Lucarelli or Coach Schubeck. Having your right-handed quarterback roll to the right. And again, that was a little bit behind him, but there's a little bit of pressure in his face too.
Yeah, Chris Rogers, the senior, chasing Lucarelli. So a big play for the Vikings defense. They need to stop them right here, and I think we're going to have our timeout on the field called by the Blue Devils. The first one of the game for either team. 9:33 remaining. 22-6 is the score. Bob Ide, Jan Sechak, and Hannah O'Reilly here for the kickoff of the Lackawanna Football Conference. Just 5 games for a lot of teams, and for some teams it's just 4 games. Like Valley View is not playing tonight. Delaware Valley does not have a game at the end of the year. They picked up LaSalle out of the Philadelphia area.
Who's a perennial powerhouse
Perennial
down there.
power, and a lot of teams playing, some matches that we haven't seen before. How about Dunmore playing Wallenpaupack? I don't remember that game ever, those 2 teams playing.
Well, with the size of the schools, there's one reason why, and again, having the shortened schedule, certain teams have chosen and opted out not to play any football this year, which makes each game crucial for their programs to try to advance this year for the state playoffs.
Right, Abington and Carbondale did opt out at the beginning of the year, so they knew that. So the battle of the old shoe in the back mountain. Lake Lehman beating Dallas 28-0. That's 3:22 left in the second quarter.
Coach Gilski has a great team this year. He knew it. He was excited to get back out there. The kids were actually driving Coach Gilski to say, Coach, whatever we got to do to get out there and play. And I know the superintendent, Mr. McGovern, he really is a football fan.
And we will see the Black Knights take on Wyoming area in 2 weeks. So we're looking forward to that. Out to DiGregorio. He slips on the grass. It's actually a loss on the play of about 4 yards, so it brings up 4th down.
And you'll see Dante throws a nice ball in here. And again, the field is a little slipped. The grass is a little high. And he knows that in high school football, your knees down, it's down. You can't get back up and move.
So DiGregorio does the punting as well as he did last year. So the first punt of the game and the season, really, for Old Forge. DiGregorio is going to angle it to the left-hand side as Brzezinski lets it bounce. Takes an Old Forge bounce, and it'll be inside the 15, and that's where the Vikings will take over, down 22-6. So the Vikings come back out. They, of course, started the season with a loss to defending state champ Wyoming area, 30-6. They played New Church, I think out of the Philadelphia area.
They are. They're down from, they're right in the Jenkintown area.
In Jenkin, they lost to them. They came up here. They lost to them 14-7. And last week, they lost to Tamaqua, District 11 team, down in Tamaqua, 51-20. So they're looking for the first win. The Vikings, they like to do it here and break the 3-game losing streak they have to Old Forge. Not really good field position. Gilchrist pressured for the first time tonight. Rolls out and it almost picked off by DiGregorio. I think that hit the ground. He's saying I caught it, but clearly that hit the ground, but why not? Here you see it again.
Again, and it's interesting, Gilchrist is not, he's really not running the ball. He is really trying to get that ball downfield to his receivers, and that shows a lot of patience on his part. And you saw the ball bounce on it.
Nice outside. Oh, he almost got it to Galuski. Galuski had some running room, too.
He does a nice job dragging across. Two outside. They were in a trips formation to the Old Forge side. 2 guys, the number 1 receiver, number 2 receiver went deep, and he just drug across right behind the linebackers. And Johnny just, that was a misfire on his part. He threw behind him.
If you let him a little bit, he might be up near a first down. Lachensky, the other number 11, was on the coverage. So a big third down now for Riverside. And he's taken out for the first time tonight. It's a sack. And it's Louis Castaldi, the junior, who pulls Gilchrist down, and maybe even Rasmus in there as well.
There was a great job. He actually had decent protection, but that was a coverage sack. There was nowhere for him to throw it. He's looking to try to get that ball downfield, not run it.
That was Castaldi, and Vikings are going to force the punt. Old Forge will get excellent field position again.
And Coach Schubeck was talking about special teams playing a key role. And again, with that field position, it's been to his advantage.
Low kick again. Barely gets back to the first down marker.
Friday Night Rivals is sponsored by Hazleton Honda. We are the newest Honda dealer in Pennsylvania, selling and servicing new and used Hondas. Visit us or shop our inventory online today. Your dream Honda is waiting at Hazleton Honda.
One thing you don't want to give this Old Forge offense that averaged 35 points a game last year is good field position, and they have excellent field position at the Viking 24-yard line. On the 15-yard punt, it's Holtzman to the outside with a stiff arm. He's in for a figure law for first down, and the Blue Devils are up inside the Allied Services red zone.
You'll see they go for the inside ISO. There was nothing there, and he bounces it to the outside for that first down.
Well, Holtzman is over 100 yards after that 15-yard carry. They're inside 10, first and goal. Blue Devils trying to add on to this advantage they had. It's been a while since anyone scored. We had, 4 scores in the first, 8 minutes of the game. Things have settled down a little bit.
Nice job in there by number 60 for the Vikings to get that penetration and take care of the right guard of the Blue Devils there.
Tyler Hoskins, the 245-pound senior. So really, the Vikings on their heels here. Will love to stop them for a field goal opportunity. Into Greenfield, who was with the Vikings last year, and he is inside the 5. Taken down again by Hoskins.
They looked like they were trying to set the option up between Lucarelli and Di Gregorio, and it's just a quick-hitting fullback dive.
Greenfield last year had 132 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns with the Vikings. So Di Gregorio will bring this third down play in. Ball sitting at the 4-yard line.
Bob, you mentioned earlier how eerie it is, how quiet it is, and it really is. I mean, here's the Old Forge guys getting ready to score another touchdown. It's very quiet.
Oh, the ball's on the ground. It's bobbling around, and then who has it? Riverside with a big break. First turnover of the game for Old Forge, and it's a huge one. And picking that up was Robert Bond, the senior.
He just didn't. Dante had his hands underneath center. He just didn't pull out, and then the center started moving. The ball fell.
How big a break is that for Riverside, I should say?
That's a huge break, Bob,
Yep.
as you mentioned earlier. This is what they need. Now, if they can get a drive together, get the score in here before the half, they'll be feeling a little bit better. But the only problem is they have to then kick off to start the second half.
And the big problem is now the ball is at the 6-yard line. So looking in the shadows of their own end zone. They've had trouble here last couple of series to get the ball past the 10. Going to try the run this time. Brzezinski out for a nice little carry, but we have a flag down. Let's check the flag first. And again, that is the Achilles heel tonight has been the flags for the Vikings. It's another illegal shift, or
illegal formation on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Can't see what the formation really was on that. And again, they end up with this now going half the distance. They started at the 6, now they're at the 3. I would expect right now, I see Coach Schubeck dialing up a blitz right now, trying to get pressure and try to get that safety.
yeah, the Blue Devils will love to stop the Vikings here after the fumble. Gilchrist in his own end zone. He's going to air it out to Rickert, and Rickert just missed it. A great job on the coverage down there by number 3, Casey Holtzman, who got a hand on it.
The sophomore cornerback does a great job running stride for stride. Gilchrist has time, gets a nice ball off. He was beat, and he closed that gap just in time to break that ball off.
He was beat, wasn't he?
Well,
So second down.
That says a lot about the athleticism of Michael Rickert, though. I mean, that he is consistently getting behind the secondary.
Trying to get it out to Reese Gahan on the outside to give him some running room. It goes incomplete.
Trying to run the slip screen in here, take a step up, and then come back inside. And what that allows the two receivers in there to take their men downfield, try to get separation and yardage for him to slip inside to try to get that ball.
The last 3 series, Riverside has only gained, I have them down for almost 20 yards on the last 3 series. That includes a lot of incompletions and a sack. Well, it is the first game of the year in the Lackawanna Football Conference, but it's not the first game
Number
for the
14
Vikings.
on the offense.
They're going the wrong way.
Half the distance to the goal. Still third down.
And that was Michael Rickert that actually, he probably heard something and thought it was the snap count. And unfortunately now they are at the 1.5.
Can't blame the crowd.
No.
Can't blame the crowd noise tonight. No one here. Eerily empty here in Old Forge. Here's the big time pressure. Gilchrist gets it to Galuski, and Galuski dropped it. Again, he had running room on that little pattern over the middle.
Again, as they ran that play just in the series right before this, where he drags right across into the linebackers. It's there.
Now they have to punt inside their end zone, and usually they get about 15 yards. They're going to have, what, about 12 yards? Not even.
Yeah.
Ball's at the 2. Watch, he doesn't step out of bounds, or maybe they just take the safety. And it's partially blocked. It takes a roll. Punter gets up, and they down it in Viking territory outside the 20-yard line. It's about the 25. Well, that could have been a disaster.
I'm not really particularly a fan of this spread punt that they run here, especially in the goal line situation. And this is why Old Forge kept their regular pressure on, and again, got a hand on the ball, and they got great field position, Bob.
Well, let's see now. Old Forge can cash in on this one after they fumbled it, knocking on the door last time they had the ball. So the sophomore is back in at quarterback, Sobel. He's a big sophomore, too, 5'11", 228.
Ben Roethlisberger type.
Big boy. Quarterback draw. He's rumbling, bumbling, and he's going to the end zone, and he is inbounds. No, he stepped. Touchdown. I was going to say he stepped out, but he's in for a Hazelton Air Honda touchdown. His first touchdown of his varsity career, and it goes for 26 yards. No flags.
James Sobel does a great job on this. This is quarterback keep all the way. Look at this burst that he has. Right after he gets past that defensive end, he turns on his afterburners and he's gone.
They wanted to check if he was out of bounds. Clearly inbounds. He's in. Here's the kick. It is up and good. So with 4:50 left in the half, Old Forge extends their lead now, 29-6. And we are back at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Old Forge, a 23-point lead now for the Blue Devils, as they'll kick it off for a Lackawanna College kickoff. One more time, a little squibbler. And it's taken out by Garvey again. Ball went through him, but he was on the ground. But the Vikings will have the ball now trailing in this game.
When a Silicon Valley pioneer discovers one of his artificial intelligence creatures might spell doom for humankind, he joins forces with the FBI to shut it down. The newest hit on TV is called Next. Series premiere Tuesday, October 6th on Fox 56.
So the Vikings offense comes back out, and really it's been them, their mistakes that have cost them tonight. Penalties and the drop balls has really plagued them.
The penalties are the ones that have been, I think, the key factors for them. And here's another one.
Again, a lot of new receivers. So they're not lining up. They're not where they're supposed to be right before the snap. Okay, Coach Harry Armstrong said he would love to have more weeks with this team. And one of the reasons why was
illegal formation on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
The inexperience of the Vikings team. A lot of new players out here.
Again, they go with that inside, they go with the speed sweep look, and they just do the inside zone. But again, it was all for naught coming back for the penalty. But Bob, as you were mentioning, these receivers, Coach Armstrong is really high on all these kids. Johnny Gilchrist, he said, has been instrumental in keeping the demeanor of this team in a positive attitude.
Gilchrist back into the flat. This time it's juggled, but caught by Adrian Gonzalez, the senior. He's up to the original line of scrimmage. Now they're trying to up the pace a little bit. Four-man rush over the middle. Caught. Should be Garvey over the middle. It is. So third down and about 6 on the way. But call it 7.
And by them going to no huddle, that doesn't allow Old Forge to get the substitutions in that they wanted to try to get in on the defensive line.
Big third down here. Has time and into the flat, trying to look for Paczynski, knocked down by number 34, and that was Josh Spindler.
Linebacker Josh Spindler does a nice job reading this. He breaks in front of the ball. Nice job. Just had that one hand on it. He was hoping to get that pick 6.
So Harry Armstrong will go for it. They've had problems, quite frankly, on the punt team tonight. So might as well go for it. You're down 23 in a rivalry game. On fourth down, roll the dice, right?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, his punt team has not really been punting and giving him that great field position. Most of the punts have almost just been where the first down marker's been, unfortunately.
Scranton Prep at the half leading Honesdale 28-7. We will see the Cavaliers take on the Wildcats of Western Wayne next Friday night from Scranton Memorial Stadium. And Western Wayne is beating West Scranton tonight as well. And we'll have the bell game, speaking of West Scranton, next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Yep.
be a busy weekend for the the QMY crew next
Yep,
week.
but I made it easy. Same place, right?
Set up once,
We're
take down
we're
once.
just gonna set up some cots, socially distance, underneath the stadium in Scranton.
Hey, nothing but the best for us, right?
Nothing like rolling the dice. I said rolling the dice, right?
Absolutely. We'll get maybe Steve he'll spring for an RV for us.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. There'll be a lot of room next week at the stadium. So on 4th down and 5, just about 3:40 left in the half. Maybe not enough players. Another timeout.
Timeout. Old Forge.
So the Blue Devils this time may not have had enough players out there. You need 11 to play, I believe, right?
Well,
right? We've heard 10. So we talked about our schedule so much, we're just going to show it to you. And here we go. Doubleheader next week, Friday and Saturday for you. And then we brought on Lake Lehman and Wyoming area on the 16th. That should be a dogfight.
That's another rivalry
great Warriors
game right there.
And, yeah, right there. Of course,
I mean, we have the defending state champs taking on Lehman, who wants to get the states this year. They are those Golden Knights are on a mission.
That AAA in District 2 is going to be what Quad A has been the last 2 years. Very competitive, 3-4 teams vying for that position. And with the limited spots in states this year, winning every game is going to be vital. Those rating points and where you're going to be seated could mean you either play a semifinal or go right to a final.
And for Lake Lehman, they're going to be looking at power points from that school.
Low, is it caught? They're going to count it. Rickard pulls it in. We'll take a look at that on replay, but the officials on the field call it a catch. It is a figure law first down for the Vikings. Huge one there.
It's a great job on that route, sitting down into the dead zone. Again, no huddle, so they're right back on the ball.
Four-man rush, he has time. A little bit behind Gahan, the freshman. Holtzman on the coverage. Call out numbers for the plays, I believe, so everyone knows what's going on. Little pump fake, and he's got Gahan. The freshman is off to the races. Can he get there? No, he's going to be taken down. Still powering his way. Oh, the ball came out. The ball stripped, and it's over to Old Forge. What bad luck for Gahan, but what a great job by Mario Simone, the junior, to just yank that ball out of the freshman's hands.
On this play, they lined up in their quads formation, which meant there were 4 receivers on their right side, 1 receiver isolated one-on-one, and God does a nice job, and they just stripped the ball right out from him.
Exactly it.
Nice move, breaks to the outside, comes back in, beats him to the inside. He kept sneaking behind, and again, that's an inexperience, and he's a freshman playing in a varsity sport. So again, a little bit nerves, so that's why he looked behind. He's going to learn from that and say, don't look behind, just go forward.
What a tough break for Riverside. It would have been first and goal from about the 5 or 6 yard line, and they could have cut into this Old Forge lead. Instead, the Blue Devils, in this rivalry game, where anything can happen,
well,
pull the fumble of Yankin, and they call it a fumble after the big play, and it is a full moon. So we expect the
craziness.
Unnormal. Yeah, the unnormal. So here are the keys to the game, brought to you by Luzerne County Community College for Old Forge, and they've done a lot of this tonight.
They really have stopped the big plays, and Coach Schubeck really wanted to win the special teams, and he's done a nice job, especially on the punts, getting that pressure and really putting it on Riverside to try to get the ball away, and they've already had 3 tips.
So the senior quarterback, Lucarelli, will lead them out this time. A couple timeouts left for Old Forge. I don't know, up 29-6 if they want a chance anything through the air. But it will be the two big backs for Old Forge, and Holtzman finds room. He's well over 100 yards. He's out to the 20, and it's a figure law first down. Gain of 13.
That gives them a lot of breathing room. And we were saying about Riverside's offense being a quick strike. Right now, Old Forge has been the quick strike. They just do their man-on-man, fullback leading up through. And again, Holtzman doing what he does best. He hits that burst and gets 13 yards.
The Blue Devils taking advantage of a Viking team that has really struggled to stop the run this year. Holtzman, big block out in front. Out to about the 29, another 9 yards for number 4.
Show my age on this one. This is the Green Bay sweep with the front side guard full and fullback. Look at Khalil Rose right there, took on 2 defenders, and he springs them for 9 yards.
So the clock will continue to roll. Old Forge will get the ball in to begin the second half as Riverside won the toss and took the ball. Best play on the defense tonight for Riverside as Gavin Williams shoots in from his linebacker spot for a loss on the play.
And Gavin does a nice job getting into that. He slips right in there, and you watch. He's trying to strip the ball out right now. You saw his left hand come flying out. That's because he was really working hard to try to get that ball loose.
Dietz was on the carry. Spindler now will dot the I. So multiple backs for the Blue Devils. Big play from the ends this time.
That was Gavin Williams again, number 1, screaming down from that outside linebacker spot. He got a nice Viking sandwich there with number 16.
Pavlovich, Tony Pavlovich, the sophomore, number 16, shot in.
That's a good job by Riverside stopping this drive after the turnover, forcing Old Forge to go punt with 1:11 left in the half.
Coming up in the Toyota halftime report, we'll check in on the Fox 56 News first at 10.
118.
And Hannah O'Reilly will have some special guests from Allied Services. We always enjoy hearing from our partners. And then Jan and I will be back in the booth to break down the first half of this tri-borough rivalry. Really a game dominated by the Old Forge running game. And they lead by 23 now.
Well, we've seen the Achilles heel of the Riverside Vikings has been their defense in terms of the running game. Last week, Tamaqua had over 400 yards, and right now Old Forge is just picking up where they left off.
On 4th down, Mike Schuback going to punt it away. Di Gregorio does the punting. He does a little bit of everything. I think he cleans the locker room after. Good rush put on, and a nice kick off to the far side. It takes a Blue Devil roll. But Riverside does have decent field position at their own 43, 1:08 remaining. A couple timeouts left, and with that air game, anything can happen.
And with Coach Armstrong's, with this offense, these kids know that they can score. And right now, they're not losing any confidence in what's going on. Gilchrist, as I was talking to Coach Armstrong earlier, his demeanor has been tremendous. He says he's actually throttled Coach Armstrong down a little bit to keep him calm so that these first-year receivers and these underclassmen that are playing the offensive line don't get too frustrated. And Gilchrist has done a great job. I said earlier he's number 2 in the class. He's a smart, heady kid, and he's getting looks from Johns Hopkins right now in Gettysburg. So he's a really, really outstanding young man.
So, Coach, this is the 8th possession of the half for Riverside. That's a lot of plays to be run.
It is, especially with this the way this spread offense is run. Right there, he threw right to the spot where it should be, and again, just a little bit inside Adrian Gonzalez. they're going to come back. They're trying to gain that kid. They just want to get him more and more confidence.
But isn't that what the offense wants to do? They want to get the ball a lot.
They want tons of plays.
Tons of plays.
For them, their advantage by running all those plays is that the defense is going to get tired. And again, with the no huddle, now Old Forge cannot substitute as easily as they normally could with a regular offense.
Gilchrist looking, surveying with time. Now running, finds Parchinski. Parchinski has a blocker out front. A hold that everyone in the stands, everyone on TV saw. And the flag is down, if you're wondering. That was a very obvious one.
It really was. And at the start of the play, I'm going to wait for the official.
So we'll be marked off from where the holding was. So hope he has
Holding, number 88, Riverside. 10 yards, still second down.
This may be one of those they run at the referees clinic.
Well, the officials tonight, I'm sure their shoulders and elbows are going to be tired from throwing all these flags tonight.
So here it is, and there you're going to see
right in there. He
just grabbed him a little bit in front of the ref.
And again, it was in front of the
official,
Blue Devils. Yep, the sideline. And you saw when the jersey gets separated from the shoulder pads, it's very obvious.
So it goes back to the 31-yard line. Second and a long way. Four-man rush. Trying to set up a screen, and they do. It's Parchinski again, but Holtzman's right there. And then here comes the cavalry. A big loss on the play for Riverside, and Old Forge defense is starting to tee off.
They set the screen up. It's that slip screen. He comes across. Here comes Parchinski, and then look, Holtzman. Who else, right? And then the rest of the Old Forge Blue Devils defense rallying up to make sure there is a loss.
Under 20 seconds to play. Three-man rush. Gilchrist is going to air it out. Has a good arm. Over the middle. Rickert came back for it. Stops the clock with 4 seconds, so another play. Flag down.
You'll see this here. I'm wondering if they're going to say he was over the line of scrimmage. So you see he's checking off. And again, it's a coverage sack for the Old Forge secondary there. They're doing a nice job.
Roughing the passer, number 34, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Well, we'll give him 15 yards and an opportunity to throw the Hail Mary.
Yeah, the 15 yards gets them back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah. In a game like this, you never know what's going to happen. This is a long first half.
It has been. Old Forge has been doing their best to get it to be a running clock and try to keep the ball away from Riverside, but they've been a quick strike scoring team tonight.
Rickert is about 6'1". Most guys are 5'10", so not really going to put it up for grabs. And Harry's going to call a timeout, I think.
Well, you can't.
Why not? You can't take him with you.
You can't take him in with you. And the way that the Old Forge defense set up, maybe he saw something that he wants to change up on this one. I mean, Johnny Gilchrist, before the game, has thrown for 5,689 yards and 68 touchdowns, so he can get things moving and going that way. I'm sure they're probably trying to figure out. Right now, I would be saying, okay, Michael Reichert, you're the guy we're going to be going to on this one, so let's get behind that secondary like you've been doing all night, and let's try to get 6.
Lehman up now 35-0 over Dallas.
Is that halftime or is it
third quarter?
Wow.
Okay, here after the timeout, Parchinski will sidecar Gilchrist. And whatever Harry Armstrong drew up, I'm sure we'll find out. Big rush. Well, if you can't throw it, you can't run the play. It goes as a sack for Holtzman and company.
Angelo Fumanti,
44
number 44.
in there. Yep, there's a congratulations for the sophomore, and that's the way this 74th meeting between the Blue Devils and the Vikings will end the first half. It's been all Old Forge tonight. They lead 29-6. Our Toyota halftime report is on the way.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
It's halftime here at Friday Night Rivals, and we have stopped by Allied Services to talk to CEO and President Bill Conaboy. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Hannah.
Now, Allied Services, you guys are a big name in the community. You're one of the top employers in this area. Can you explain to some of our viewers who might not know, what is Allied Services?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. Allied Services is a regional post-acute healthcare system. We do business in about 25 counties here in Northeast and Central Pennsylvania. We have 2 inpatient rehab hospitals. We have several skilled nursing facilities, personal care homes. We do home health, we do in-home, we do hospice, we do mental health, behavioral health, we have a vocational training center, etc. We do everything that's in the post-acute care arena of healthcare.
Now, some of your employees have worked here 30, 40, almost 50 years. What would you say makes Allied Services a great place to work?
Yes, we have, as you said earlier, we are one of the largest employers here in the region. We have just about 4,000 employees. And I'm here myself almost 30 years, and I'm still considered a new guy. So I'd like to think that it's the atmosphere, the collegiality that we have here at Allied Services. People genuinely care about each other. They've watched each other's children grow up. They've experienced good times and bad times, but they stick together, they care for each other, and most importantly, they respect each other and those we care for.
Now, elephant in the room, coronavirus. It's thrown a wrench into everybody's day-to-day life, a lot of jobs. What is Allied Services doing to kind of get over those hurdles of the pandemic?
Yes, we've been in the thick of it, again, particularly in post-acute care. People come to us from acute care hospitals. And of course, this has been part of the problem with the spread of COVID-19. So we've been in the thick of it. We've had many, many cases. And we've been at the front line with PPE, personal protective equipment for our employees, screening, etc., separating people. And we've done a lot. We're very proud of the work that we've done. We've brought many people from the beginning through successfully coming out of COVID-19. So we're in the thick of it. The storm is kind of quiet right now. We're hoping there's not a resurgence in our area, but we're very proud of the work we've done.
So whether it is injury or an illness, Allied Services is always helping people get back on their feet, and we want to thank you guys for what you've done in the community.
Thank you. We're honored to do the work we do in our community.
Thank you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm Bill Conaboy, President of Allied Services. During these particularly challenging times, we're pleased to continue our support of high school athletes and high school athletic programs throughout the communities we serve. We also honor our employees and all frontline workers who have held the line and stayed the course throughout this pandemic. Thank you.
Well, we're happy to present the Old Forge School District $250 on behalf of Allied Services, Superintendent Dr. Aaron Keating, and high school principal Chris Gatto doing the acceptance today on the field before the game. And we want to thank them for welcoming us in here to Old Forge. We're going to hold up, let some guys go through before Jan and I end up and talk about halftime. So again, Old Forge comes out, 2 plays, they score right off the bat. They established that running game. That's what they wanted to do, and it's been Blue Devils the rest of the way.
It's been pounding ground, and we've seen some passes, though, from the Blue Devils, but they are just trying to take control, and they have on the offensive line, and they are just moving the ball. And again, I said earlier, they are a quick strike offense tonight, which is kind of unusual for that really let's grind them up.
Yeah, the Vikings, usually the quick start offense, the quick strike offense, as you might say. 12 penalties, some drop passes. That's really cost them.
The penalties have been monumental task to overcome for them. And then the drop balls, that just hurts it even more. But the discipline that they haven't had for those offensive penalties have really put a stop to the way they want to move it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the first half highlights. Let's go to them right now. Holtzman with a big run, and then he does the honors from the tailback spot. He takes it in for the first touchdown of the game.
And that was a great job right there. And now again, Hezekiah Dietz, he just runs that ISO play inside for the touchdown. Riverside comes right back.
It was 14-0 then, and then that big strike offense, Galuski in from 40 yards, and it made it 14-6, and he thought he might have a game. The rest of the half belonged to this guy.
A momentum breaker right here, 73-yard touchdown return for Colin Holtzman. The brothers are really dominating this game tonight and doing a great job.
That's Casey.
Oh, Casey.
Colin was the number 4.
I apologize.
Come on. Mom's not going to be happy. She's watching.
The Holtzmans.
Yeah.
I apologize, Holtzmans.
Then the defense went to work, and might be our player of the game, Colin Holtzman, his first interception on the pressure.
Really, and again, Gilchrist has really been sitting back there trying to get the ball downfield. Now we have right here, look at this quarterback keep all the way. This is Sobel does a nice job, dives in for the touchdown. The officials double check to make sure it is, and what's good.
Then late in the half, this is a very unusual play. Big play, and just like that, the ball is taken right out of the hands of Gahan.
And that was just a perfect strip. And again, he's a freshman. So he's like thinking, I'm going to score, but he kept looking behind him. He really didn't have great ball security.
And that's where we stand right now. Fords will get the ball in the second half. The score 29-6. And, you know, it's been a shuffling of quarterbacks tonight for the Blue Devils. Of course, Dante Lucarelli, the 4-year starter, hurt his knee in preseason camp. He got cleared yesterday to play. We've seen a little bit of him, but James Sobel has come in. He's run the offense. He's handed off. The offensive line has given him some support, and he has a touchdown run himself.
Which talk about a confidence boost for the sophomore quarterback stepping in. Dante, had limited reps. Again, he hasn't been around to really mesh with the team as much as he wants to. And again, I'm sure Coach Schubeck is going to take his time with him because every game is going to be crucial after this one.
So on the ground, 18 carries as a team for Old Forge, 186 yards. Holtzman, 8 carries, 140. Not too bad.
That's
Johnny Gilchrist, 14 to 29, 156, and that's what you pretty much expect. He's had time in the pocket, and I don't know if it's, again, some drops or the field position, but they haven't been able to establish any kind of rhythm on offense.
And that is because of the drop balls, Bob. The field position, some quarterbacks would be really nervous, and it might change how they're doing it. Gilchrist is just, it doesn't matter where he is. He's still going to go through his progressions. He's looking downfield to throw. He doesn't really want to run the ball.
So the Lackawanna College kickoff will be Nick D'Amico for the Vikings. Looks like Diego Gregorio and Casey Holtzman already with a touchdown return are deep to receive. Will they keep it away from him? No, they go right to him, and he takes it from the 20. Looking for more room. And this time the Vikings special teams does a nice job.
Brought down by number 25.
Hannah O'Reilly had a chance to talk to Harry Armstrong. And what did the coach have to say, Hannah?
Well, Bob, that's right. I talked to Harry Armstrong, whose team is down 29-6. He tells me that he plans to clean up their penalties and their offense. Defensively, he says they've been out of position a few times, but with some focus on that, he should be able to make some moves with his team. Coach Armstrong also says he has big faith in his quarterback to help his team as a whole in the second half. He's confident his team will play their hardest these next 2 quarters, and we'll see what happens as we enter the second half. Bob, back to you.
Well, it's going to start with a defensive stop, and they didn't stop the Blue Devils on first down. Sobel off the play action gets it out to Nick Dodge. Zach Weaver, my apologies.
Right here, we end up coming back with a bootleg pass on this. gets a nice easy completer, and that was Weaver just put his shoulder down and put a hurt on that defensive back trying to tackle him.
Weaver last season had 6 catches and 2 touchdowns. He picks up 13 yards on that play. Holtzman dotting the I. Oh, the ball on the exchange. Sobel's lucky to pick it up. Riverside's right there, and going backwards, -3 on that for Old Forge.
You'll see this. Here comes, it's a trap play, 77 coming. That was just a miscue on the quarterback's fault. And again, he knows it. And again, heads up play to jump on it.
I don't know if I want to see the replay again. Did Greenfield almost hit the ball on the
He was back there with it, yes.
Might have been the fullback, and we slowed it down at the.
Yep,
right, yeah,
yep.
I think he knocked it out.
He was, as he was running through, his right hand came in, punched it out.
Seven guys in the box. Give it to Holtzman, and he's up and over, but a gain of about 10 on that. 3rd down out of the way. Boy, he's shot through that hole.
Khalil Rose does a great job with this quick trap inside, leading him up. And again, look, there's number 63 for the offensive lineman. Luz Castaldi coming down, taking that 2nd level linebacker. They are executing, getting the 1st, 2nd level, allowing that Holtzman and the rest of the running back stable to run free.
They have a bunch of backs who can really run the ball. That will help them through this 5-game regular season. And next guy, Dietz, the junior, he's up for a finger-law 1st down up inside Viking territory to the 39-yard line.
Coach Schubeck really likes this. Again, Khalil Rose, I'm calling his name as an offensive lineman. He's leading up on that quick inside trap, and they're getting big chunks of yardage there.
We have seen Dietz, Greenfield, Holtzman, and Spindler all in the backfield rotating. And they've all done a nice job when they got the ball or with the blocking.
Coach Schubeck is really high on this running back stable that he has. He feels that they're all good, and they push each other at practice to get to be the best they can.
Dietz with a nice hole off the left side. Dietz following his blockers all the way to inside the 25-yard line. Gain of 16.
And guess who from behind laid the wood on that one? The senior Gavin Williams. Again, counter trade now, both guard and tackle pull. We have a counter back, the counter action from the tailback, jabbing right, coming left.
They're just going to line up and smack you. That's the way they're going to run the ball, and that's the way they've always run the ball in the Mike Schubeck era.
And that's what they're known for. They're just to grind it out, and they're going to smack you hard, and they're just going to keep doing it and say, Coach, keep going, let's go.
I mean,
Call my number.
last 5 years, Coach, 44-16 is their record, are the Blue Devils.
He's done a tremendous job ever since he's been here.
Again.
As you said, he's one of the elder statesmen now in the Lackawanna.
I can't wait to talk to him about that. Of course, ranked 2nd in the state right now. Sobel's going to just tuck it and go, and he's got a 1st down, up near a 1st down. They're going to be about a yard short. 9 yards for the sophomore, but they are inside the Allied Services red zone.
Looking in here. There it is. He just looked downfield, gave a quick fake. And look at that. Again, the offensive line and the receivers now are getting in there, taking care of the outside cornerbacks and the linebackers.
And the Vikings all year have struggled stopping the run. And as a coach, that's what you're going to look at, and that's what you're going to try to do.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. If something's working, you stick with it.
Absolutely. So Holtzman next to Sobel. Sobel going to fake it and take it. Chris Rogers there on the tackle for the Vikings, short of the 1st down.
I'm sure Coach Baradelli, who's the offensive line coach for the Blue Devils, is going to be talking to his center. He's getting that ball up a little bit too high. And again, look at that. So he's just a big kid, 223-pounder coming at you. So he's going to put a hurt on you.
Give it to Holtzman off the right-hand side. Big push from the line, and it's a figure-law 1st down.
Number 4, Colin Holtzman to carry. Results in a Old Forge 1st down.
Here we go. All this is just the zone. You see the backside guard, Demetrius Dolnish, coming across and picking up the linebacker.
That defense has been out there a long time for Riverside, and they're just getting hit on every time. They don't, not much depth, too, for the Riverside defense.
And right now, Old Forge is taking over 5 minutes off of the quarter.
Sobel, quick look, and then he takes off. He's tough to take down, and good tackle out there by the Vikings. Is that Justin Teig?
That's who I believe it was. He's a big kid. Good feet that he can stop on a dime like that. He's a strong kid. That was a nice job with the takedown.
Cole Bond, the sophomore, number 36, took him down after we watched the replay. Second down and long. Clock still ticking here in the third quarter. This is the opening possession of the quarter. One way to stop the Riverside offense,
don't
long
give
drive.
him the ball.
Dietz over the center, inside the 10. Brings up third down.
It makes it pretty easy to call this play. They've run this play now 4 times. Again, Khalil Rose leading up on that quick inside trap, allowing now Dietz now to get some yardage.
10th play of the drive. Started at their own 35-yard line, and as Coach just said, over 6 minutes now off the clock. As Old Forge, again, working in the Allied Services red zone, looking to extend the lead. Little quick out to DiGregorio. First time we called his name, he walks in, untouched, and it's a Hazelton Honda touchdown.
Nice job on the hitch pattern. Right here, steps up, two steps to get that secondary, the corner to drop back and then come back in for the ball for that touchdown.
Barbetti in, the lefty. The extra point is up and through. So a long drive extends the lead for the Blue Devils. It's 36-6. We are back in Old Forge, Veterans Memorial Stadium. The Blue Devils trying to win their 4th straight in this series over the Vikings of Riverside. Opening possession taken for a kickoff, and it's a Lackawanna College kickoff, And it's Garvey again, the up man, taken down quickly at the 29-yard line.
Garvey on return, stopped by number 44.
Angelo Monte again with another stop.
Riverside, first down.
So the 10-play drive ate up, over 6 minutes of clock. So Riverside has to work quickly if they want to have any chance of getting back to the 30 points. They trail now.
That is true, Bob, but more importantly, that 6.5 minutes that they've taken off the clock has left that quarterback cold on the sideline. So add that in now to the halftime, and again, Johnny Gilchrist he's a professional when it comes to that, coming out here. He's going to get out there and do the best job he can. And I'm sure Coach Armstrong talked to his receivers and said, look, guys, you're better than that. Let's catch the ball.
A lot of inexperience on the Riverside receiver front. Gilchrist with time and a big hit put on by Holtzman. Was that Parchinski? He hangs on to the ball. What a catch by Parchinski. What a better hit by Holtzman.
And I'll tell you that he held on to that ball. I got to give the offensive line of Riverside credit. They are giving them time to throw the ball. And again, that was a big time hit. He must have put his big boy pants on for that one, Bob.
He's been wearing those big boy pants all night long.
I'll tell you, you picked out a great Old Forge player of the game to start with.
See if Riverside goes a little bit faster now in their offense, trying to get the ball back quickly. A lot of movement. Another flag down. It's going to be against the Vikings. Penalty number 13 on the night. And that's inexperience. And we keep using that word, but you have guys coming out for the first time ever to play football.
Ball start. Offense, number 88. 5 yards, still second down.
And while they're great athletes, and they are, if you're not on the football field and know where to line up and have that football intelligence, I guess.
And again, that comes from the repetition, and it just comes from being ingrained from the practicing. And on that play, all that happened was he was in his 2-point stance and went down to a 3 when the quarterback was snapping the ball. So, and it's an obvious penalty.
Another whistle, another stoppage of play, and boy, at this rate, might have to order some pizza.
I think we're in the right place.
Delay, yes, we are. Delay of game. So, again, just the Old Forge cheerleaders here tonight. No fans allowed. A bunch of media, and of course the two teams and administration from both districts have made their way here to Old Forge to kick off the Lackawanna Football Conference season. Gilchrist to Rickard, and he drops the ball. DiGregorio with the hit from behind, jarred that loose.
We're starting to see Old Forge right now do what they do best, play really tough-nosed defense with great hits, great technique, wrap, shoulder drive down, and then again, that forced an incompletion.
Third long now, facing the Vikings. Four-man rush. Does have time over the middle is Parchinski. Can he get to the line to gain? Breaks a tackle and a couple. He's going to be just short. I'm sure they're going to go for it on fourth. 3 yards short.
Nice job. Looking across, he's checking off. Johnny Gilchrist looking through his progressions. Finds Parchinski. Nice job. Tucks the ball away. Hit, spin. Again, to get them close to that first down.
Holtzman there on the tackle, and Holtzman's down with cramps, I believe. He's just sitting. He just sat right down, and you would think that's what it might be.
And I saw him right at halftime. He came over.
I'm joined today by Sue Schwartz. She's the Director of Nursing here at Allied for both rehab hospitals. Sue, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me.
So you've worked at Allied for 33 years. What are some of the best parts about working in the rehab hospitals?
It's very motivating. It's very progressive. You know, we work with the state-of-the-art equipment. We see such great success stories. It's very rewarding when we see, you know, patients who have been here, struggled through the worst times in their lives, and then come back a few months later, and very rewarding for us to hear that they're back in college or they're driving again, the things that many people take for granted. It's a great environment for learning for you know, young students that are in school for occupational therapy, physical therapy. You know, we bring staff in, and then they climb through the ranks so much like I did, and they then have positions as nurses and physical therapies in a rehabilitation setting. I remember back when I started as a GN right out of school, and just continued to be promoted through the ranks for hard work and the efforts that we all do and everything. And I wouldn't have worked anywhere else. I can't see myself anywhere else at this point.
Well, Sue, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for the 33 years you've put in here at Allied Services.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Hannah. And on the fourth down play, we'll show you it again, but Riverside did not make the line to gain. Old Forge takes over on the Viking 38 on first down. That's be Spindler on the gain. Again, another tailback. Big yardage, give him 9. Second and 1 coming up.
Spindler, oh, here we go.
Here's the fourth down play, Coach.
They go with the fake the jet sweep, and they were trying to do a quarterback keep. Actually, not a bad call, because Gilchrist has not had any designed run plays at all this year.
Nick Rasmus, the defensive tackle, made the stop on Gilchrist, and that's why Old Forge has the ball. Dietz to the hole, and a couple big hits taken in there. Chris Rogers on the bottom. It's a figure law first down, and Rogers is, that's Gavin Williams down, number 1 for Riverside. He gets up slowly.
There were a couple big hits in here. Gavin Williams comes in, makes that, and then we got Pashinsky coming in and lowering the shoulder in.
Oh, they hit a little harder, they practiced a little harder, they know it's a big game, and very unusual to start a season, but it's an unusual year. Why not start with a rivalry game? Because you don't know, next week you might not be able to play. You never know what happens.
Set of downs for the Blue Devils inside the Riverside 25. Toss play.
Toss to the Dietz. That is Dietz. And Dietz loses some yardage, so nice play by Rogers, number 2, the senior, to make the tackle.
Chris Rogers does a nice job reading that. He sees the door, as we call it, open up. He fills, and he comes in and makes that first contact and brings him down. Nice job. He had outside leverage, and he just ended up there shutting that play down. And the Vikings defense comes over and makes a big stop.
About a minute left in this third quarter. DiGregorio slipped again. So he'll lose 3 yards on that. And it'll be 3rd and long for the Blue Devils.
You'll see right here, it's a good ball, good pass. And again, you see how slippery the field is. We had that rain this morning. The grass was, as I said earlier, is a little bit high. But I think that's the way Coach Schubeck likes that.
I think that's the second time tonight DiGregorio caught a ball and slipped right after he caught it. So it's very unusual.
Back to the 30. 3rd and 15.
Sobel back scanning, has a lot of time. Here comes the backside pressure, but instead he flips it out. And Weaver has blocking, and he has room, and he is in for a Hazelton Honda touchdown. A 30-yard play, Sobel to Weaver.
You'll see this.
TD pass.
Look how cool, calm, and collected he is back here. Looking around, checking his reads, comes down. Now the formation set that up for the Blue Devils. They went what we would call, what I used to call my offense, a Texas formation. That means tight ends up with 2 flankers on his side. And he was very patient, just did the out pattern and waited. And again, pay dirt for the Blue Devils.
So Barbetti in, the lefty kicks it up and through with 27 seconds left. Old Forge is looking to go to 1-0 on this early season with a big win over their rivals, Riverside.
Popsy's Pizzeria is located in the heart of Old Forge, specializing in New York-style hand-tossed pizza, hot wings, burgers, and so much more. Takeout or delivery, call 570-457-4100 or poppyspizzeria.com. You're all right in our book.
Wherever the pizza is down here, you know it's going to be good.
They are. And we had the President of the United States just endorse one of the pizza places
here. Yeah, just around the road here, in fact.
Out there, Weaver.
So it's pretty much the way the Riverside season has gone, and I know they wanted to turn things around tonight, but Old Forge, number 2 ranked team in the state in the 1A, came out and showed why they are one of the better teams in the state overall at any division, any class.
Any class right now, they could step on the field and they would do very well.
The fact that they can plug in a sophomore quarterback and put up 43 points.
And having that stable of running backs helps.
And look, it starts where? Starts up front, right?
It starts up front, and again, that starts in the weight room with those kids. And you want to talk about a team and a program that's committed to the weight room, look at the Old Forge.
And they had extra time in the weight room when they could get into it after the restrictions. So another Lackawanna College kickoff for Old Forge. And I think now the clock adjustment coming again. So Jack Loomis coming over to talk to Coach Mike Schuback about something.
Is he pointing at people there in the stadium that he's trying to get rid of? Not his job. No, but one of the freshman coaches is running over there.
Now there is a group of people on the far side who on the far. I don't know if we can get a shot over there. They're, I don't know if it's the students or who it is, but somebody on top of a truck looking over the fence. There they are. Yes, you made it on TV.
Yeah, but we're the two people standing at the fence. I'm not so sure they're worried about the kids outside the stadium.
So I don't know if it's people inside or outside. But this is on the referees. Now, administration has not gone over yet for Old Forge.
That assistant coach that we sent over is also the state trooper. So those kids are not going to be happy when they get over. I'm not sure what rules they're violating. No, I don't either, unless they're cursing. But even then, I don't think Loomis should be responsible for that.
So there they are.
If they were in the stands, he would be.
Not kids, just some fans. So, and they're outside the stadium.
So I don't know how they can expect the coaches, the officials to.
Yeah. So the Lackawanna College kickoff is bobbled, recovered, and then quickly taken down by a host of players in blue uniforms. And Vikings take over and
Parents, score a touchdown with our great family rates, especially for your young drivers. We have many discounts, great service, and coverage. Plus, we're local and here to help. Call 570-562-1000 or theinsurancebuffet.com.
so back out come the Vikings. Now trailing big, just over that 35 mark, or the clock will continue to roll. 18 left in this quarter. Back out to Galuski. We have a flag come in. We have a great play from the linebacker Spindler, who takes down the Viking receiver for a loss.
I'm wondering if they're going to call defensive holding on that.
Holding. Offense, number 88. Penalties declined. Second down.
So they did decline it, and it is a loss of about 8 yards.
And you'll see this. Gilchrist looks, it's just a swing pass right out there. And again, he was. And again, that's that inexperience. Here's a number 88, Garvey, a baseball player trying to assimilate, trying to understand the nuances of the game. Again, if he kept his hands within his frame and didn't extend, it wouldn't have been called.
Gilchrist with time, can't find a receiver, overthrows Galutsky at the 40-yard line. Matt Lincheski, the sophomore, on the coverage. 1 second left in the quarter. Why not?
You'll see right here that he's scanning. And again, the secondary's doing a great job covering this down. He did have number 14 coming back, and he didn't see him. He was going downfield. And again, number 11 for Old Forge. He's got to watch a little bit of that contact because, again, if this game was close, both sidelines would have been screaming about it.
I was saying, shouldn't the clock be rolling, even an incomplete pass?
It should. I thought 35-point rule.
So it should be the last play of the third quarter. Gilchrist trying to set up the screen. They do to Perchinsky. He has a host of blockers. But quickly, Simone hits him out of bounds, and coach is saying we have another flag.
Again, they go with the screenplay. They set it up. They're patient, and Paczynski tucks it away, and you're going to see right here, coming out of bounds. He's out, and then they give that little extra push.
So we're going to await the call from the referee, as Harry Armstrong wants to know. That is the end of the third quarter.
There's not a lot of room on the sidelines there either, so that's why I'm sure, again, the officials' number one responsibility is the kid's safety out there. And you'll see when he gets that extra push right there, he goes right into the fence.
Yeah, it was a little extra push because he could have just ridden him out of bounds. But, you know, emotions in a rivalry game, first game of the year.
Dead ball. Late hit out of bounds. On the defense, number 24, 15 yards, results in a first down.
And that will do it. The third quarter's in the books. Old Forge on their way to winning this rivalry game. They lead 43-6. We'll be back with quarter number 4 after this.
At Allied Services. Every Thursday in October, Allied Services hosts job counseling, hiring fairs, giveaways, so much more. Learn all about excellent career opportunities, including sign-on bonuses and benefits every Thursday. Get all the details at Careers at Allied Services on Facebook.
We are back at an empty Old Forge Veterans Memorial Stadium. No fans in attendance. And if they were here, they would love what they're seeing for the Blue Devils anyway. If you're a fan of that team, they are winning 43-6 as we start the fourth quarter here in the fourth meeting between Riverside and Old Forge. First down after the play. Gilchrist is taken down on the sack. Ball is still loose. Louis Gastaldi has the sack. Recovery by Claudio Jimenez.
He came off the edge so fast and so hard, Gilchrist didn't have time to even go through one progression read. He knew that there was pressure, and again, that was a great call from the defensive coordinator of Old Forge to put that pressure on Gilchrist and put them in super deep now for second down.
Gilchrist with time, gonna go long. They try this a couple times. Gahan pulls it in. What a catch from the freshman. Huge gain into Old Forge territory.
What a ball, Bob. Johnny Gilchrist put that, he threaded that needle, put it right where it needed to be. Does a great job with the concentration. Look at this. Gets that perfect placement, tucks that ball away. His elbow actually hit the ground, and he still secured that ball.
38-yard pass play, Riverside on the move. Go Gilchrist. Faked it, ran it, and then was taken down quickly by Demetrius Delonish, the 5'10 senior.
Good job. Look at, he's checking, and again, that secondary from Old Forge is not allowing Gilchrist to get the ball downfield at all. And now the pressure is coming from that defensive line that we really didn't see too much in the first half.
Loss of 7, second down to Perchinsky on the outside, gets a block. Perchinsky lowers his shoulder, and he's up inside the 35. So gain of 10 for him.
Look how cool, calm, and collected he is back there. Again, great ball placement. And again, Paczynski on this one, he's getting out there. And again, they get the penalty, and they get huge yardage coming right back to it. Puts them in a more manageable position.
Perchinsky takes the handoff, bounces off 1 or 2, makes a spin. Spins for a figure law first down.
Nice play in here. Here comes the number 74 pulling for them. That's Angelo Escobar coming up inside for that inside trap. And again, they got to work on that ball control right in there, the security of that.
Yeah, Holtzman, though, had the first hit. He shook him off. A bunch of movement. This will go against the Vikings one more time.
Yards. Still first down.
Unfortunately for Riverside, in this series, every time they get a loss, they get a big gain. So hopefully the Vikings can keep that momentum going now. Coach Armstrong getting a little bit frustrated with some of these calls, but that was an obvious one. Garvey and Escobar both jumped.
So Coach Armstrong still talking to the head referee tonight, John Loomis. That discussion is over, and we get back to playing with the clock continues to roll with the 35-plus advantage. Last year was 33-26 Old Forge. Riverside has beaten the Blue Devils since 2016. And it's intercepted.
And another penalty.
Stepped out of bounds, Mario Simone. We do have a flag in the middle of the field, though. Was it?
I think they're going to call pass interference on Holtzman.
Coach Seachak watching the play. I am watching the ball. Good eyes.
Well, Bob, I'm going to piggyback off what you said about last series with Coach Armstrong talking to the official. It's over after they throw the flag. You can't turn it back.
No.
They're going to placate you a little bit.
It's for the next call.
Hang on. Where do we have?
So they're going to work it out on the field. But 8:25 and rolling. This one's not in much doubt. I think that's the obvious statement. Now Riverside, it's just some experience for this young, inexperienced wide receiver
Before the
corps.
interception, unnecessary roughness. Number 4 on the defense, 15 yards, results in a first down.
So
Garvey's coming across that zone that's been open, and Holtzman took him down. And again, safety's got to be number one factor for the officials out there.
So it's a figure law first down for the Blue Devils. The ball,
You'll
the
see it
Vikings.
here. He's going to be coming across.
Oh, yeah, you just saw it.
Yeah.
For the Vikings, and they're inside the 25. And it'll be first down. So 8:25 left in the game. Riverside next week heads to North Pocono. And they had a big win tonight over Scranton. Shutout. So they haven't even rolled the 25-second clock yet. Injured player or equipment malfunction? That's what it was. Reese Gahan had to have some adjustments made to his helmet. And now we're in place, ready for this first down play. Some time. Gilchrist getting happy feet. Sobel on the attack to the end zone. And it is caught for a Hazelton Honda touchdown by the Vikings. 25-yard strike to Michael Rickert.
Touchdown, Vikings.
Again, Gilchrist is now, he's scrambling around because the pressure, the offensive line is tired from that defensive line beating on him, and he's just scrambling around. And again, his composure, and he throws a touchdown strike. Beautiful.
From the sophomore for the touchdown.
They'll go for 2.
You'll see the pressure in Gilchrist. He's checking, stopping, checking, going. He's looking, and there it is. Nice job by Michael Rickert there for that touchdown.
2-point conversion to the back of the end zone, and it goes incomplete. So Riverside strikes with a drive. They put some points on the board, but it's still Old Forge out in front big. 7:43 left in the game. Welcome back to Old Forge. Bob Ide, Jan Seachek, Hannah O'Reilly. The Blue Devils on their way to starting this season 1-0, and more importantly, their 4th straight win over their rivals from down the road, the Riverside Vikings.
If you look right here, that last play, Riverside, that last drive, they get a touchdown. Old Forge, I'm looking at their front 5. They've replaced now with all their skill kids thinking onside kick.
So the Lackawanna College kickoff, do they kick it deep or try to get it onside? They'll kick it deep with D'Amico, and Holtzman pulls it in at the 10. He already has a 73-yarder tonight for a score. He's got running room. Couple broken tackles, and Casey Holtzman, up past the 40-yard line to the 44.
What a great effort. Second effort, third effort in there. He's all smiles right now. Tremendous job. He even had to reach over that like he was a receiver grabbing that ball.
We need 2 players of the game. Could be the Holtzman brothers. I think we're
that's
close.
unanimous.
I think, yeah.
He's been a special teams player for them. That effort, his secondary coverage has been very sound.
3-4, sophomore, senior. Clock will start rolling now and continue to roll. But we're inside it.
There's not going to be any urgency on Old Forge right now. They're going to try to chew up as much of this clock as they can.
Senior Lucarelli back in. And great run by Dando. David Dando, the senior, he breaks out for a big gain inside Viking territory. Gain of 14.
I think David Dando is probably on the track team because the way this kid can run, he had a great burst and he turns it on again. Nice job with his straight arm getting them off. Good ball security.
He's a 5'8" senior. He had 2 touchdowns a year ago. Had 20 carries for the Blue Devils in 2019. First one tonight is for positive yardage.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, someone's talking in my ear and I respond through this.
Again, Dando. Gain of 6. So I think we have a couple of subs in there for Old Forge.
Here we go with, it was toss right, now we go toss left. You see the guards up pulling. Nice job, Dando lowered the shoulder right there. Giving the hit instead of taking it.
Oh, we have a timeout or an injured player. But we have time to go down to Hannah, and she is a special guest.
All right, I'm down on the field with Old Forge Superintendent Aaron Keating. Aaron, the students are back in school.
Correct.
Can you talk to me about what their school days are looking like since every district is different?
Sure. We're on a hybrid schedule in Old Forge, so our students are coming in either Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday, and then they're virtual the other 3 days. Our teachers are doing a fabulous job because as our kids are sitting in classrooms, they have their peers up on computers right in the same classes, and it really is something that's neat to see that we're still trying to keep the school community together.
So now you guys put this work in to, keep these students safe from the virus. So how do you feel about these teams playing against other districts?
We have an athletic health and safety plan, and so does every other school that was adopted by the school board. We're making sure that we're doing temperature checks and symptom checks before we come to the games, and we're really trying to do everything we can to ensure that nobody's sick prior to any kind of competition.
Now, last minute, the decision was made to have no fans here tonight. What were your thoughts on that decision?
I get it from the point of the students and the parents. You want to be at the game, but the governor gave an order and we need to follow it, and it took us back to the initial order, so unfortunately people couldn't be here. And I have our Miss Devilette with us right now.
And she looks awesome.
And it's just unfortunate that people don't get to see all this stuff, which is really what makes the seasons what they are. But we will continue to follow the governor's order or until something changes.
Well, we're glad that you're going to get some airtime for everybody at home who's missing out on this. All right, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bob and Jan, back to you guys.
Yeah, too bad we don't have fans here, but that's just the way it is in 2020, and happy that 2 teams can actually compete on a football field.
It is.
Is the first thought.
It is.
And you know, we know parents want to be here, and if I'm a parent, or you're a parent, you want to see your kids play.
Especially the senior kids, because it's going to be the finale season for them. And again, you never know what tomorrow brings. And again, I firmly believe that the parents should be allowed to come into these games, again, socially distant, wear their masks like they're supposed to. And, you know, it's tough for the school districts and superintendents and school boards. Here we go. Bad snap in there. Dante's going to clean that up. Again, number 41 comes in, laying the wood on that one. That was a nice job by Riverside's Robert Bond.
So we're under 4 to play. Old Forge continuing this drive. Good job by the defense. Gonzalez, I believe, on the tackle, number 81, and number 2, Rogers.
Nice job right here. Again, Old Forge is trying to run that just a front side guard pulling, what they call the power play. And the Riverside Vikings are sniffing it out, and they're stopping it.
So Old Forge plays next Saturday at Holy Cross, who's back for the first time in 2 years playing football. They're a very young team. They did lose tonight in their game. So they're going to go up to St. Anthony's Field in Dunmore and play, while Riverside will travel up to North Pocono, take on a Trojan team that shut out Scranton tonight, 35-0, I believe. 27-0. Western Wayne beat West Scranton 35-0, so we have the Bell game next week. Somebody is going to want to pick up a win.
It'll be neat. That's such a neat game. I mean, the tradition that goes back. I couldn't, Bob, I'm not from Lackawanna County, so I'm not sure how many years they've been doing that.
The Bell game? I'm going to have to look it up, but it's been probably 80 years because you had 3 schools. You had Scranton Central, Scranton Technical, and West Scranton. And then added when Scranton and West, when Tech and Central merged, then you had Scranton. So.
For more than a century, Lackawanna College has been changing lives. Now you can earn bachelor's degrees from a respected school close to home with the most affordable tuition in the region. Apply today at lackawanna.edu. New classes start October 22nd.
Couple scores. LaSalle College beating Delaware Valley 20-12. Williamsport shut out Wilkes-Barre. Lehman shut out Dallas. Crestwood shut out a Redeemer. Prep with a big win, 42-7 over Honesdale. Dando makes a nice cut. Takes a big hit and is up to about the 16. Wyomingers shut out Tunkhannock. Lakeland shut out Mid-Valley. Dunmore's beating Wallopopack. Hazelton big over Pittston area.
Here we go with the toss right. And again, Riverside, they really put it together. Their defense, I thought they'd really be tired, but I know he's got some subs in there, but they're flying around to the ball.
And I'll continue since I was already. Lackawanna Trail beat Holy Cross tonight. So there's some scores from the Lackawanna Football Conference and Wyoming Valley Conference.
Lots of shutouts, you were saying,
yeah,
Bob.
A lot, yep. Again, next week we'll be at Scranton Memorial for the weekend. John and I are going to bring our cots.
Eat at the Glider Diner, I suppose.
Oh, got it. You have to eat at the Glider, right? You have to get the roast beef and the fries with gravy at the diner.
Sounds like a heart attack on a plate.
Especially after a game. So Gilchrist's going to just run it out there and gets knocked out of bounds after a 5-yard gain. Now you don't want anybody hurt.
No, especially, Johnny Gilchrist does not want to be running and afford some type of injury. And you'll see, again, the secondary coverage is there. It's like a blanket. And then these guys, the defensive front's putting pressure on, nowhere to go.
Still waiting word how the District 2 playoffs will look, as Gilchrist is going to be taken down for a sack. Delonish on the sack. After their meeting yesterday, they're going to wait to see what the states do. Take a look at the replay.
81, 55. I mean, just call a Blue Devil defensive number, and they're getting pressure right on Gilchrist.
One thing we do know is the district will let both conferences finish out their regular seasons through Halloween.
Okay.
The playoffs will pick up November 6th or 7th. Now, will they be semifinals or championships? That depends on the state brackets, which come out next Wednesday. So
okay.
There will be some states. Of course, District 11 is opted out of states. District 3 was thinking about it. They did not. As we'll look at the replay again. Perchinsky on the reception.
Just that quick in pattern. And again, what I like about him, Perchinsky, he keeps it going. He's got a good motor.
Now, Holy Cross and Old Forge are the only Class A teams in the district. So we'll have to see what the district will do with that championship. So the clock winding down, under 30 seconds to play.
I'm sorry, Bob.
No,
Watch this hit by Di Gregorio. Textbook. Shoulder wrap, grab cloth, and drive him to the ground.
Michael Rickard's going to need some ice tonight, Dad.
Hey, guys, we got to pick up some of these bottles on the sideline, please. We got it. Thank you, sir.
Got to clean up. So a big win. Maybe expected. Old Forge, we knew they had a very good running attack coming in, and they proved it in that first quarter. Colin Holtzman with a huge night on the ground. And another sack. And that should just about, that will end the game for the Blue Devils. Fourth straight in this series, the fourth meeting between the two teams. And it will go to the Blue Devils as they go to 1-0. Riverside drops to 0-3. We'll talk to the players of the game. We'll get the players of the game down. It'll be the Holtzman brothers, as the final score will read 43-12 in this tri-borough rivalry.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
We are back. Fair to say, a dominating performance from the Blue Devils tonight. On the ground, especially Colin Holtzman near the 200-yard mark, and really the offensive line gave them big holds. And special teams, too, took advantage of a couple things. And Casey Holtzman had that big 73-yard return, and the defense late in the game with some big sacks.
I think that kickoff return really broke the back of Riverside to start that. They come right back, and then you give up 73 yards. We saw what Old Forge is going to do. They're going to pound and ground it, and they got that stable of running backs back there. And like we saw at the end of the game, Mike Dando, he was out there.
Yeah.
He looks good. So good luck to the Old Forge Blue Devils this year. They've got a lot on their plate, being number 2 in the state right now.
They do, and a great performance. They will get ready for Holy Cross. Riverside up to North Pocono. Hannah trying to track down the Holtzman brothers, and we'll talk to them. 2 great performances from them on each side of the ball. So Riverside, it's back to work. What really plagued them were the penalties, I think, tonight, and just some of the plays that just didn't go their way.
Bob, I'm just off the top of my head. It had to be at least 14 penalties against
12
them.
in the first half. So,
12, yeah.
Add on some in the second half.
And then the drop balls is a recipe for disaster there. And they've just got to overcome. And again, I know Coach said that he's very, very happy with them.
Hannah now with players of the game, maybe Coach Schuback. Hannah, who's our players of the game?
All right, so we have 2 brothers. They won players of the game. Guys, congratulations. How does it feel to win tonight side by side as brothers?
It's different. It's something you don't get to experience a lot. Not a lot of guys get to play with a brother. It's special. It's just special as can be.
So you guys have a great team behind you. The scoreboard says it all. What do you think your team did well to help you guys win tonight?
The O-line and D-line. They handled the line of scrimmage and just put in the work.
Played as a team.
So how do you think this win will help you guys for the next upcoming game?
Brings a lot of confidence to the team. That's our rival. And yeah, the scoreboard says it all. And we're ready to make a run.
Any personal goals for you guys for the next upcoming games?
Win. That's all I can say. Win. Win them all.
Win?
Yes, sir.
Let him
Yes,
have
ma'am.
the best senior season.
All right, guys. Thank you so much and congratulations.
No problem. Thank you.
Short to the point.
They get
Great
those
players.
words of wisdom from Coach himself. He's a man of few words, but his actions speak very loud, just as his team performed tonight. They just got it done very loudly on the field.
Well, Colin came out, ran really on his own, picked up 47 yards, 45 on the first play, 2 on the next. It was an easy Hazelton Honda touchdown, and that really set the tone of what we were going to see from the Blue Devils.
It really did, and that offensive line did a great job out there. Khalil Rose, like I said, the way their scheme is set, he was doing a lot of pulling and trapping, did a great job, a lot of movement there. And James Sobel, stepping in at the Q spot tonight, did a great job for the Blue Devils.
So next week, again, we're back at Scranton Memorial Stadium. On Friday, we'll have Western Wayne at 1-0, taking on Scranton Prep at 1-0. That's a Division II battle. And then on Saturday at 2 o'clock, we'll have the Bell game. That will be Scranton versus West Scranton on 2 o'clock on Saturday. Got to figure out who's the home team. It's West Scranton's the home team. Scranton's the visiting team. But they both play there. We get it, right?
And
we
Scranton Prep plays there too, right?
And Scranton Prep will be the home team, and then we take on Western Wayne. We got that all covered. Friday night and Saturday afternoon, that's all you need to know. The final score again in the 74th meeting between these two teams, the Blue Devils win the 4th straight over their rivals, Riverside Vikings. The final score, 43-12. For Hannah O'Reilly, for Yancey Check and the entire Fox 56 sports team, this is Bob Ide saying so long from the pizza capital of the world.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.